Pre-Algebra, we are reviewing for your test 11 tomorrow. After tomorrow, starting next week, we are jumping into review for the entire year. I have a handy dandy fancy little guide that I will be following along to make your videos for review. So let's jump into what you need to know tomorrow. So I'm giving you a big hint. I am just giving you the formulas today. You will need to know all of these on your test and how to use them. Go back and watch my videos if you are concerned about any of this. If you feel like you have forgotten anything, go watch my previous videos. With that said, you also need to know what the 3D shapes look like, by the way. So, you know, sphere, all that lovely stuff. But with that said, we are getting into the formulas. So volume comes first. The volume of a cube is edge cubed, E cubed. So if it tells you that the edge is 10, you're going to do 10 times 10 times 10. So my little hint to you here is this is E times E times E. Do not forget that. So I moved into cone because alphabetically it's what comes next. The volume of a cone is actually going to be 1/3 of the volume of a cylinder. So cones and square pyramids both have the 1/3 here. So it's going to be pi r squared times h. Okay, so the cones are, think ice cream cone if you need to. Okay, which gives us the volume of a cylinder, which is pi r squared h, because we need to make sure that we are taking the area of the top part and multiplying it all the way down. Okay, so this is our radius, this is our height. For a cone, if you want to see that, it looks like that, but it's actually triangled down. So ice cream cone, cube is the little 3D, whatchamacallit there. It's the square, it's a 3D square. I love drawing these shapes. I'm so sad I didn't get to draw these with you in person, but I'm glad I at least still get to help you figure out all these things. And then volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. Now, when you're doing these problems, if it gives you height first, feel free to multiply height times width first. Just make sure that they're all being multiplied together. So if it gives you something that looks like 14 by 9 by 8, just multiply them all together. It tells you right there what to do. So multiply them all together. And these are ones that look like the 3D rectangles. Anything like that. Okay? Square pyramid is actually going to be 1/3. Volume equals 1/3 length times width times height. But in this, length actually equals width. So this is going to look more along the lines of 1/3 base squared times height, if that helps. So either of those are the proper way of doing it. Now, for this, you will have a problem that is going to tell you it has a 15-foot square base. It's going to be, you're going to make sure, so if it says like 15-foot square base, you're going to want to do 15 times 15 and then multiply it by its height. So keep that in mind. It will also tell you the height. So just pay attention to what you are given, okay? So if it says square base, that is your length and your width that it is giving to you. So that is multiplied twice, okay? That's what that means. Do not forget that volume is written in, I'm going to box this right here, units, cubic units. Sorry, I keep forgetting that we are doing, so this is going to be in cubic feet or cubic inches, so it's going to be cubic units. Okay? This is vitally important. You guys have been getting away with me just letting you say inches or whatever. Sometimes y'all have been saying squared. Volume is in cubes. So you need to think about this as a cube is a 3D shape where you would find the volume of it. So if you're finding the volume of a cube, it's going to be in cubic units. Moving forward, we have the Pythagorean theorem, which was a squared plus b squared equals c squared for any right triangle where A and B are the legs and C is the hypotenuse. Excuse me. Okay, so do not forget this. A and B are the legs and C is the hypotenuse. You are going to have to use this to solve for at least the hypotenuse, okay? Make sure you know this formula. It is, of course, labeled as Pythagorean. I'm going to put rule. It's the Pythagorean rule in your book, but it's Pythagorean theorem everywhere else. So actually, I'm typing it up, so I can change that to say Pythagorean theorem. Whoop-de-doo. But yeah, so you will need to find the hypotenuse at some point. So you're going to take the square root of the sum of the squares of the two legs. Okay, now moving forward from that, I'm going to give you a shortcut for sine and cosine and tangent right here. So sine is going to be the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. I always like to say this is OPP divided by hypo. You will want to make sure that you know it's the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So when you're looking at a triangle, if this is the right angle and this is your angle that it gives you, your opposite side is over here. And then your hypotenuse is across from the right angle. Make sure you pay attention. Okay, the cosine is the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse, otherwise known as ADJ over hypo. The adjacent side is the side, if this is the angle that we are looking at, it's the side that helps to form the angle with the hypotenuse. So it's the side that helps form the angle. If I were to take away that side, my angle wouldn't exist. Okay, so the opposite side is directly across. The hypotenuse is paired up with the right angle, and the adjacent side helps to form the angle. And then my tangent is going to be my opposite side divided by my hypotenuse, otherwise known as OPP divided by ADJ. Now, a shortcut for this, like I said I was going to give you, is SOHCAHTOA. But if that's a little confusing, we can save that for Algebra 1 when I go into more detail. I have an entire chapter over sine, cosine, and tangent. Then Algebra 2, we have a whole chapter over sine, cosine, and tangent, and their inverse functions. So these are going to stick with you through geometry, through Algebra 1. Make sure you understand these. If you need me to review them any further, let me know now, like today. Like message me at the end of this video and be like, Ms. Davis, I don't understand it, because I can get in the live chat with you guys and I can explain again. I can see where you guys are getting stumped, any of that. You gotta let me know, because I am more than willing to pull up my camera if you're fine with hearing my kids yelling in the background and talk to you guys in person. I will do that. I do these videos because I feel like it's easier for you to not hear my kids screaming behind me or my dog jumping in my face. But if you need help, I will get on the video with you, okay? I have no problem with that. So just let me know. Your test is tomorrow, so be looking for it. I'm going to try and not make it too terribly long, but that means that some of the questions are going to count for a little bit more. So just pay attention to what you're doing. Take the time to read. Make sure you put cubic units for volume, okay? Pay attention to what you are reading. And good luck tomorrow, and I will see you guys again in video on Monday.